Hello, hello, hello. This is a Pup in the Life, and this is a Pup in the Life where we actually survived. Good morning, good evening, good whenever you're gonna listen to this podcast. We are in our favorite countryside, and we are almost ready to rock. I say almost because Mom has been sick and has been doing lots of things to just be able to survive this couple of weeks, which have been quite stressful, quite busy. Lots of things that we cannot share, but many things that we can. And the first thing that we want to talk about is Mom needed to rest quite a bit. It was especially last week, but also a bit during this weekend that has just passed. And this is also the reason why you haven't heard from us, because my mom wasn't able to get up from the bed, wasn't able to just deliver on basic tasks in life, let alone delivering on work. So unfortunately, Mom was, not so well, and that's why we weren't here. So welcome back to everybody in this Pup in the Life. Welcome back from us to you through everything that we are learning and we are living. It's probably the busiest March that's ever been in Mom's life. But we're gonna look back at it and talk to you about everything that's happening, what's going on, and we'll share more about this. But it's been a roller coaster ride in between red tapes and business opportunities, investors, and whatnot. Vergola! I am now just playing with some shit on the road. But for now, let's just keep it on hold and talk about the relationship that's in between rest and very productive. So what Mom has done during this last week, let's say, was basically try to hold on to everything that was needed for the work that she needed to do, but just the obvious one, not the just the obvious and the urgent one, which is not basically everything, probably just a tiny bit of the stuff that you have on the plate. And needing to rest is also a good exercise to understand what's really needed and what's not needed. And so their moms at some point made a list of all those thoughts that led us and let us understand what was the priority, what was not. And we want to share this with you, so that you can use it whenever is the time for you to rest the next time, because I'm sure and it's probably going to be right now. If you're starting to feel a little bit drained, it's already too late. So let us go a bit through it and let us understand what's in it in the rest. So activities that Mom actually performed include, for example, listening to podcasts when she was able to, reading, sometimes going out with me because there was nobody else to take me outside. When she felt best, just a tiny bit of cooking, some very easy shit like white rice or boiled potatoes. Not really sexy, but that's how it rolls. And in general, try to have a different view on life that was not urgency oriented, but was more probably opportunity oriented. Let's just say that, and a view that was a bit more distant. This is what I mean to say. Sometimes being sick lets you go through that. But let's go to the list, which Mom also wrote about on LinkedIn. So things that I think, this is Mom talking, when I have a fever, which means when I am sick, when I got the flu. If you're not working, who will do it? If you don't work, you're not gonna get paid. You know that, right? You're not wasting your time listening that podcast in bed. Podcast, by the way, was podcast by Doug Leone on Invest Like the Best. It was an outstanding episode, which I recommend you listen. Lots of things around soft skills on investors, talents, and startups. Pretty amazing. You have 37 non-read messages on WhatsApp that you have an answer to. You have 100 emails in the inbox. You've all read them, but you need to grab and record a Pup in the Life, this podcast. You're behind. I don't know. You've been missing us. In the company, there are some people that are waiting from some answers on your side. Maybe even more than one. Outside, there are lots of leads to be reheated or to just grab a new. Come on, get to Milan or wherever you want and talk to these people. Very interesting people. I sound like Trump. Very interesting people. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a week or more. You nevertheless would need even non-working activity. You're gonna need to find something that is not sleeping or jump scrolling through dog videos, very nice videos on Instagram or memes on Twitter. Well, at least there's Vergola. But doesn't she get bored if you don't get her outside? Well, maybe it rains. Well, maybe, charge a dishwasher or a washing machine. Well, it's an awful idea. Maybe tidy up the bookshelf. When in reality, the only real thing with the flu is if you don't get better, you're not going to work for much more time, and even maybe never. So that is probably doomsday, right? So not being able to do anything, which is awful in our case, because we always like to work a lot and to just perform activities that are work related or actually growth related, which is not. It doesn't mean that we always work. It means that we're trying to find a way for us. I don't want to go into it. We're trying to get a way for us to do things that even when we don't do things are actually value-added activities. This is how we roll. So whether it's working at the field for me, perfection, whether it's listening to podcasts or reading books, whatever it's like, getting informed on some things, getting educated on business or non-business matters, whether it's trying a new recipe, for example, or exploring new business idea, or maybe I don't know. It's also staying. That's also what we did. Sick on our mats, on our active mats, which we're not advocating right now because it's the point. But this is what I mean to say. We also got a new idea for the podcast. So the issue about it is whenever we feel like that, we tend to give ourselves and to give ourselves the illusion to be able to control how we rest. But in all honesty, it's controlling that we just rest, the importance of rest itself. And I'm not even talking about rest at this point. We're probably talking about recovery. Because if we were talking actually about rest, we would be able to understand that rest is something that comes as a normal part of life every day, every night, and every week, in any shape or form, temporary or spatial. But that's programmed, and that's something that's part of us. Otherwise, activity, we will just die. But sometimes we tend to be overwhelmed by the many things that we need to do, and that rest becomes a lack rest, becomes in the need of recovery. And And that's what probably happened to mom. Also, it was bacteria. Like, it was not just self-inflicted or psychologically spoken. We know, I know, as a dog, I know who passed the virus to mom, and it was her sister. So that we have is a piece of information, but it doesn't solve the actual thing itself. When it comes to really gathering feedback on how to rest and how to recover. So the best thing is actually getting able to rest rather than actually having a need of recovery. Think about recovery when you made a great effort. But how are you able to just going through great effort without resting? You then need also recovery. So better use up your energies in the wisest manner and, be able to deliver on such promises. Because otherwise you will find yourself looping into a very bad way of thinking, a very, very bad thinking loop. Even in the case of, of when you're actually resting or recovering and not being able to rest because you're thinking about how to rest better. And the only reason and the only way is take some rest moments no matter what. Of course, there are moments in which it's easier, moments in which it's harder. Mom hasn't really got it this bad since many, many years actually, because, and it was for me, she managed to have a calendar for which basically every month or every 2 or 3 months or so, she was able to get away a weekend with me. Not far away, maybe in the mountains, close by, but to be able to stay with me and enjoy in the end. Just take a bit of a pressure and be able to survive again and then relive again. Okay. That's the meaning of it all. So for now, this is everything that we had to say. I hope you find it valuable. I hope you're either currently resting or actively planning a rest. And if you're currently resting, please, this is not recovery. Or let it not be recovery next time. Ask yourself, is this rest or recovery? And then the only thing that you need to understand is it is an infinite game. It's a long game. These things that you're not doing right at this second will not matter in a week, in a year, or 5 or 10 years time. Maybe a year, but not 5 or 10. Your health does. The way you learn how to take care of your body does even more. Bye from the countryside, sending you lots of kisses, hugs, and bits of words. Bye!